In this question here, we're going to see how do you solve question with modulus functions, and this is basically additional math whereby you can be asked to work out a question that looks like this. If you're new to Profine YouTube channel, consider subscribing so that anytime I'm going to upload more tutorials, you'll be notified. So whenever you're given a modulus function like this means that this expression can be written as x squared minus 5x is equals to 6, or it can also be written as x squared minus 5x is equals to negative 6. So if we are to work out this, we are going to employ the use of quadratic equation. So let's first work out the first equation here, which is going to be what? This is going to be x squared minus 5x minus 6 is equals to 0. So if you have this, we are asking ourselves which two numbers whose sum is negative 5, but product, if you multiply the two numbers, is going to give us negative 6. Two numbers whose sum is going to be negative 5, but the product is negative 6. I can go by 6 and 1. Let's see what it will give us. If I have negative 6 plus 1, it will give me negative 5. Negative 6 times 1 is going to give me negative 6. So which means that this equation is going to be x squared minus 5x, sorry, because now I want to write this in terms of the expression that we have here. This is going to be minus 6x minus plus x, because this is basically 1x here, minus 6 is equals to 0. Therefore, if I factor out what's common in each of the expression, I'll have x into x minus 6, and then plus here I'll factor out 1, which is x minus 6 is equals to 0. I'll go ahead and now say this can be written as x plus 1 and x minus 6 is equals to 0. So that means that x is equals to minus 1 or x is equals to 6. That's one of the solution for this particular modulus. Then now we shall go ahead and also work out what's the solution of this other part that we have here. This is going to be x squared minus 5x plus 6 is equals to 0. Which two numbers, if I add them, the sum is going to be equals to minus 5, but the product is going to be equals to positive 6. Which two numbers whose sum is that? In that case, we are going to take minus 2 and minus 3. These are the two numbers. So that minus 2 times minus 3 is going to give us positive 6. If we add minus 2 plus minus 3, it's going to give us minus 5. So meaning the middle term here can be written in terms of these two numbers we have, and that's going to be x squared minus 2x minus 3x plus 6 is equals to 0. We can be able to factor what's common in each of the case here, and that is going to be x minus x into brackets x minus 2. Here I'll factor out 3 so that I'll have x minus 2 is equals to 0. So finally we shall have x minus 3 into x minus 2 is equals to 0. Either this part and this part is equals to 0. So this is x is equals to 3 or x is equals to positive 2. So you can see now this result for this particular modulus that we have at this point is going to result to that. That's basically what you are supposed to do when it comes to working out questions to do with modulus functions. Another question we're going to look at is differentiation. How do you differentiate expression? If you are given an expression like this, you are told in part A, differentiate. We are going to differentiate sine x plus cos x divided by e is to 1 minus 3x. How do you differentiate an expression that looks like this? So here, what you need to remember is that this is a question to do with quotient rule. So we're going to say u is going to be sine x plus cos x. That is u. And then we are going to take v is equals to e is to negative, this is going to be 1 minus 3x. Now with this, you are going to say du dx is going to, if you differentiate sine, that's going to be cos x. If you differentiate cos, that's going to be minus sine x. If you differentiate an exponent, you usually differentiate the power, then you multiply it in front of the function. So this is going to be equals to dv dx is going to be differentiating the top, we're going to get negative 3, because if you differentiate 1 it will be 0. Differentiating negative 3x, that becomes negative 3. Then we shall have exponent 1 minus 3x the way it was. Then at this point now we can be able to apply quotient rule. If you're having d of dx of u over v, quotient rule claims that this is going to be v du dx minus u dv dx divided by v squared. That is how quotient rule basically states. So if you have this formula well inscribed in your mind, then we can be able to apply that. So we are going to say our expression now will be dy dx is going to translate what? This is going to translate to v du. V, remember, it was e is to 1 negative 3x times du dx. Du dx is cos x minus sine x. Then the next term it will be minus u, but u was sine x plus cos x. Then this one is going to be times, we are going to multiply here by dv dx, and dv dx is this part that is well seated here, minus 3 e is to 1 minus 3x. I believe you can be able to see that that point here. Yeah. Then we're going to divide everything that we have in front of this by v squared, but v was that, so it's going to be e is to 1 minus 3x raised to power 2. Of course, you can decide and have your expression that way, but still we can be able to do it much better. We can be able to simplify that expression further by saying that dy dx can be written as this expression. We are going to factor out exponent. So if we factor out the exponent, what are we going to have? We're going to have e is to e is to 1 minus 3x. We are factoring the exponent out. We remain inside the bracket with cos x minus sine x. I think that space is not going to be enough. I have a little bit give myself quite enough space. This is going to be dy dx is equals to, I'll take the exponent out, 1 minus 3x into bracket. So I'll take cos x minus sin x, cos x minus sin x, and this other part here, it will be minus 3 to be now positive. And of course, because I have minus 3 here, this part here is going to be positive, so I shall have plus sin, sorry, I'll have here 3 sin x plus 3 cos x. Then I can divide everything by e 1 minus 3x times e 1 minus 3x. Because this is square, that is why I'm having that, so that I can cancel these two together, and then we end up having dy dx, which is going to be cos, if we are having cos x, and this is going to end up becoming 4 cos x. We are having cos x and 3 cos x here is going to become 4 cos x minus sin x plus 3 sin x. That's going to translate to plus 2 sin x divided by e is to 1 minus 3x. So that's what we have here. And of course, we can say this can be written as 2 e is to 3x minus 1 into bracket 2 cos x plus sin x. So this could be the final simplified expression in this particular question. But otherwise, if you are done this question and you leave it at this particular level, still you get your all your marks according to additional math